What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, who do I have on the program? Well, if you haven't looked at your podcast feed, Vince Warry is back, baby. My man in British Columbia, Nanaimo. Oh man, I'm gonna get pounced on for mispronouncing the city of Nanaimo. It's close to West Vancouver, but it's not West Vancouver. It's Nanaimo. British Columbia, man. He's in Canada. Oh, Canada. My man out there making the music and making those, doing the shows, doing it up right. And his latest song is I'll Never Be. Check that out. But we'll be catching up with him in the next few minutes, so stick around for Vince Warry. This week's shows, let's see. Oh, I have my usual Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show every Friday night at the Rab. Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. I like saying Video Dance Party because it's not just music, it's the videos. And I'll probably be playing some Vince Warry music up there at the Rab this weekend. Yeah, I can predict that I'll be playing him this weekend at the Rab. And people are going to go, hey, who is that? And I'll say, oh, that's Vince Warry. And they go, oh, I got to look him up. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good. So, yeah, and that's... They got a full bar. They got the kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, Friday night with yours truly, Keys Dan, from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM is when I'm there. So get there early and stay late. Have a few drinky poos and have some food with your friends at the Rab. Good times. And then on Saturday, I think I have a private event. I don't remember. It's either a wedding or a party, a birthday party. Either way, unless you're invited, you cannot come. So why am I mentioning it? Because I get to be a part of people's best days. These are days when people are coming out and just ready to have a good time, ready to have fun, and I get to be a part of it. So I know it's an honor. It's a privilege that I get to be doing it after all these years. I get to be playing at people's houses, at people's weddings. I had a wedding last week. So beautiful down in Monticello, Arkansas. So great people. They gave me, of course, we always have that pre-planning. I give them that planning form, that music request list, the event timeline, make sure that everything's going to go just right, just the way they want it. The bride and groom pick out their perfect music and pick out the way that they want the wedding to go, and pick out they just pick out their first dances and who's going to be doing the toasts, that kind of thing. Oh, I do like weddings. I do, and I've been doing it after all these years. I keep getting to do it, and I know it's June is typically wedding season, but I do weddings all year long, at least 50 a year. I'm doing events, all through mostly the end of the week, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and I save the beginning of the week for my podcast. And of course, RadioWhat.com is on, but I'm so happy to be a part of this thing that we call show. And thank you for letting me. Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. All right, that's it for the intro. Let's get into it with Vince Warry out there. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, check out the video on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Skyping Vince Warry now. Oh, my man, Vince Warry on my screen. I'll never not be a Vince Warry fan. What's up?
How's it going, Dan?
Oh, it's so good. So good. I was grooving to your I'll never be. Oh man. It's like a call and response. But man, it's been about 6 months since last we spoke. What's been going on in the world of Vince Warry?
Oh, we've been doing a lot of work with a bunch of different bands, actually. I've got a Doors tribute band that's getting ready for some big theater shows coming up. Been writing a lot of music for my project. Yeah, it's been fun, you know.
All right, a Doors
Fun
cover
times.
band. He's polarizing. Jim Morrison of the Doors, the late great Jim Morrison, part of the 27 Club. Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse. You know that he's polarizing in the respect that was he a genius in lyrics? Was he a lyrical genius? He was the Lizard King. No doubt about that. He was the Lizard King, but was he lyrically that much of a genius? Some people say yay, some people say nay. Why the Doors? Why that cover band?
Well, we were okay. You've gotten into a bit of a story here. So we were looking for something that we could do that was big, like that would get a bigger crowd. And the guys said to me, pick something with keyboards, because we have an amazing keyboardist, Graham White. And from Yesterday's Fate, I might add. And so, I know that they'd done Pink Floyd, but I can't sing Pink Floyd in a comfort zone. Like, it's a little bit quiet for my vocal stylings. So having been in a cult tribute band in Vancouver, if you know the history of the Doors, you'll know that Ian Astbury actually sang with the Doors of the 21st century, as they were called, when they went out on tour. So I thought, same vocal range. And I actually didn't realize until I dove into the Doors how much influence Ian Astbury of the Cult has from the Doors. It's very similar.
Oh, you're schooling me, man. You're making me remember things from my rock and roll days down in Miami. 94.9, the rock station, or She's Only Rock and Roll. Oh my goodness, She 103. Oh, but you're making me. I remember rattling off something about that, something about the Cult in their past. But man, I don't think that was at the top of my brain. But I can imagine your voice taking a Riders on the Storm, will you take the vocal journey that Jim Morrison had, where you'll kind of ramble off and just go off in his own thing and start going? Oh man, that would be so thematic and so spot on if somebody was coming to a Doors show or a Doors cover show. I mean, are you going to put it all in there, and the dress and the outfit?
Oh yeah. I've got wigs are expensive, Dan. I didn't know this, but I've got a primo wig, and I got the leather pants, and I got the concho belt, and once I've put it on just to get used to it, and it's almost like it's a connected download. Like, it's almost like he senses, oh, there's another one, go for it. So you kind of do get the mood going when you get into that whole zone. And so I've been working on my sort of under the influence swagger, if you will.
Well, I think you have a connection to the afterlife, probably more than others, because you've had the tragedy in your past, and I'm not going to dredge that back up. If anybody wants to listen to the last couple of episodes back, you'll hear the story of Vince Warry, and love and loss. But you have a connection to the afterlife. You have the ability, the faith that there is that connection. And if Jim Morrison could sing through you, I could see it. Val Kilmer's not the only one that could put on a good Jim Morrison performance, which he did. I thoroughly enjoyed The Doors, according to, well, with Val Kilmer at the helm. I mean, you like that movie?
I actually, at times, that was so well done that I thought I was watching a documentary. And that is an Oliver Stone film, if I'm not incorrect.
I believe you're right. I'm not going to look it up.
I was watching Forrest Gump the other day, which is also an Oliver Stone film, and I didn't realize how much Doors there is on an already awesome soundtrack for Forrest Gump. So I think Oliver Stone definitely had something for the Doors, for sure.
Well, okay, let's talk about soundtracks. Now, let's go off on a little tangent. I was thinking about soundtracks, and I was thinking about Vince Warry songs and how they'd be appropriate for a soundtrack. So any of my loyal listeners, my loyal listener, I know you want to make a movie, and I know you need a soundtrack. I know you need some Vince Warry original in your soundtrack, just so it can make it that much better. And the I'll Never Be... just this song that just, you put it on YouTube 6 days ago and you have a nice video of it. It's out there. That's what you're doing right now. And this is pretty much what we're doing, is catching up on what's happening in the world. But I listened to it and it's a solo. You do have some background vocals, Jim Cranvelt, if I'm pronouncing that properly, also of the Yesterdays, right? I'm reading this, man. It's a post on your Facebook. Anybody who wants to go, and please go chase Vince Warry around, my loyal listener. Go stalk him. Be a part of his circle of fans. But you have that song, and it's you singing on your own with a few backup vocals. But I could see that as a duet. Have you ever thought of taking a girl, asking those questions, and then maybe you giving the responses? And you can tell my listener, what is it that we're talking about? What is I'll Never Be?
Man, Dan, I've had so many people ask me that, or people ask me if it was about them. And, it was in a very prolific songwriting period of my life where I was writing songs way faster than I am now. I wish I could go back to those days. And it was just kind of weaving a tapestry of different things I'd heard or different things other people had told me when we were talking about breaking up, basically. And only one or two lines really are things from my own experiences. Never thought about singing it with anybody. That probably would be a cool thing to do on stage someday. Up until recently, it was just a standard one of my solo whenever I played with just me and acoustic. I'll Never Be was one of the songs, but now it's got that big sound thanks to Jim, and who knows where we'll take it next.
Hey, all right. I got to ask, because my listeners chomping at the bit, what part is you, Vince Warry?
Okay, I've never actually covered this before, but being 18 and not particularly handling a breakup well, I remember seeing my ex-girlfriend at the bus stop and not knowing what to do, so I drove by like I never even knew her name. Shame.
I've dealt with breakups at about that age. I think I first started really dating, one girl in 10th grade. I was 16, and I remember she broke up with me because her parents thought it was getting too serious, and they didn't want her to have a serious boyfriend. So I thoroughly say anything outside her window, rode my motorcycle up to her house, put my boombox up, and I can't even remember what song I was playing, but I know it was a song that we liked together. And I say anything like when he played Peter Gabriel over his head, in your eyes. Oh yeah, I did that, and that probably wasn't the coolest thing to do, and it was later at night. I'm sure I woke the neighbors and her parents up, which probably didn't gain me any favor with her. But I mean, you driving by your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, I guess, and just pretending you didn't know her. What became of it? Did that plan of attack draw any fruit?
There was no plan of attack. It was purely I didn't know what to do. And I think I have a few more tools in the emotional intelligence toolbox since then. But we'll just leave it at that. It was an inexperienced 18-year-old Vince. So.
Well, this is primarily a learning podcast, so my 18-year-old listener is out there going, put that in my mental Rolodex. Don't pretend that you don't know her. Just be cool and try to be friendly. And if she doesn't want to be friends, then go that way as well.
Be friendly. That's the key. Yeah.
Be nice. I guess like Patrick Swayze said in Roadhouse, be nice. Even if they're hitting you in the face, be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Exactly.
No, okay. My goodness, you're making me think of breakups all around. Oh my gosh, there was one Halloween where my girlfriend at the time didn't like that I was at a Halloween party with a bunch of my boys, and she didn't know that I was going to this Halloween party, and she thought. Well, she was working, so I said, well, you're working, so I'm going to go ahead and go to this Halloween party. And she got off of work and couldn't find me and figured out I was at this Halloween party. And she started hitting me in the chest in front of everybody. Hit, like getting real physical. And I'm not going to hit her. And she was, if she was bigger than me, I still wouldn't. But she was smaller than me, and I'm like, okay, I can take these few hits. But have you, as a woman, ever hit you out of madness, meanness?
No, Dan. We're going off script here, man. But no.
Oh, there's no script here, man. I want to know. I want to know it all. We're talking about a breakup song. Breakup songs have been around since songs have been around. You know, the best part of breaking up is when we're making up. Breaking up is hard to do. How many breakup songs can you think of that even just say the word breakup? They don't even have to. Your song is a little more subversive in that the title is "I'll Never Be," which kind of reminds me of the what is it? "I'll Be," maybe by Ed McCain or whatever his name is. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. "I'll Be." But, it kind of gives me, you can't judge a book by its cover. What is this song? What is "I'll Never Be" about?
I think if I had to try to put it into words, it would be that it is, I'll never be what you need me to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go through the origins.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody that reads that Facebook post can know it, but I want to hear it fresh in your words. 4 days ago, you put a Facebook post about the "I'll Be" song and how it came about. And, hey, is it about one person? Oh, I guess I owe you $1 now.
It is not, like I said before, it's not about one person, just a collection of ideas, but it was a song that my original band that I started with way back in '95 called Obscene Silence in Vancouver, and we made it all the way to 2006, and it was just people moving away that caused the end of that, but it was one of our last songs, and it was one of our earlier songs, and we recorded it for our second album, and it was home recording at the time, so it was really rough, but Greg's piano playing really shone through. I always remember that. And Kevin at the time was our drummer. He was also an amazing acoustic guitarist, and he was also a great vocalist, and his vocals were fantastic as well. So I wanted to make sure I tried to capture those two elements when we re-recorded it. Yeah,
you had 2 records with them, Narcosis, 10 Men Records. What was the other record with them? Or was Narcosis?
We called it "Soft as Rocks."
Okay, yeah, that's not listed.
Narcosis was our release.
Or what?
And Narcosis was our major release, and Soft as Rocks was more of something we just sort of threw together and released at shows. So,
well, yeah, I guess you named them appropriate. It said Soft as Rocks was your soft release. How about that?
There you go. Yeah. I'll probably, I've got some remastered versions of the songs off Narcosis that I'm going to release in the next little while. So,
well, I like that. See, you said you were prolific as a songwriter back in the 90s when you were first starting out, that your brain was just putting forth all these songs. And I want those songs to remain alive. Yeah, you have them out there as Obscene Silence, but you can retool them. You can remake them. Shoot, some of my favorite remixes are the remixes that were made by the bands themselves. I think, the one that I remember the most first was the Police when they remade "Don't Stand So Close to Me" back in '96, and it was a song from the early '80s. And they remade "Don't Stand So Close to Me," where Sting's background voice, "Don't stand so close to me." You can remake it, and do you have a team that's helping you put these songs together? Is Jim Cranefeld, is he your guy? Is he your engineer, your producer, your go-to? Is he the GOAT?
He is my engineer, producer, guitarist, sometimes bassist. He's the Swiss Army knife behind the simplicity that is myself. So, yeah,
I saw him tickling the ivories as well and providing some background music. This is an engineer that does it all. Go ahead.
That was Greg on the piano. Greg from the original Obscene Silence lineup. Greg Williams, who's in a band called Ambient Pressure as well. That was him playing the piano.
Well, Thank you for the correction. I like that. I like giving credit where credit is due. People that have helped you out along the way. And I do appreciate a music video. I mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. When I do my shows at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, my public shows, and even my private shows, when I'm at the various events and clubs, my job is to break out new artists and new songs. And one of the things I'm going to be playing on Friday night at the Rab, guaranteed, is Vince Warry's "I'll Never Be." And I like that you put a music video on there, so that way I can put the visual. Because when I do karaoke jams, I got all these TVs set up anyway, so I might as well put a music video up there. Who shot that music video for you?
Well, as I was rambling through the laundry list of the skill set of Jim, I neglected to mention videographer as well. So there you go. It's him as well.
God bless America and Canada too, because you're my man in Canada. Still up there in West Vancouver. Have you been taking trips? Have you been?
I'm in Nanaimo.
What's that?
I'm in Nanaimo. I'm in Nanaimo.
Nanaimo.
Nanaimo is a...
That's it. Yeah, it says it right there.
Right across from West Vancouver.
All right. Yeah. I think I made that mistake before. I went to... I did a prom at Marion, and it's right next to West Memphis in Arkansas. And I kept saying, "Hello, Marion, West Memphis." And boy, those kids did not like when I said West Memphis, even though it was close.
Approach, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure if you're doing a show in Nanaimo and you say West Vancouver, are they going to be a little upset?
Oh, they'll be a lot upset. Yeah.
But it's Canadian upset. It's like what is it? Passive aggressive upset. Oh, I don't think you got the name right there, sir. That's
no, not so much. Not in Nanaimo. I think they'd be pretty vocal. So
okay, all right. Give us the tour of Nanaimo. Yeah. What have you been doing the last 6 months besides being in the studio getting some new tracks put down? Are you doing any live shows? Where are you traveling?
I've bounced back and forth between Vancouver a few times to see some live shows. I've got Greg who plays keyboards on I'll Never Be, is also in an amazing Pink Floyd tribute band called Crazy Diamonds in Vancouver. And my former drummer is also in an amazing Tragically Hip tribute band called Gift Shop in Vancouver. And so I've gone and checked them out. Gift Shop has been kind enough to put me on stage a few times because I used to sing. Has the Tragically Hip, do you know who I'm talking about, Dan? They're a Canadian favorite. They're an awesome band, but I know they're not that well known across the line. So,
when I go through my 90s party, when I go through my 90s party, a little Tragically Hip will end up on the playlist. I cannot name a song, but you did mention Pink Floyd, and I can name a song for sure. My best buddy in the whole wide world, John Canada, was and is the Pink Floyd fanatic. And I mean, when you do a Pink Floyd show, do they do all the theatrics as well, pigs flying and hammers and the big stage presence? I mean, you could do it all with a video in the background rather than having to blow up dolls or whatever. But tell me about your cover shows.
Well, like I said, I'm not in this band. I'm just a fan, but it's Greg's band. And what they played was, they were really last year or a year before, like actually it's probably been like 3 years, 4 years, but they played our local planetarium that used to have Pink Floyd laser shows.
Yes.
And they plunked down right in the middle of the planetarium, and man, that was epic. So yeah, they have the whole video production, and I know that I don't know her name, but they have the very talented female background vocalist who does the Great Gig in the Sky, the song that's all just the woman freestyling. And she cues a lot of the stuff on a little trigger, so the things are changing with the music. It's really cool. Jim has also made us an awesome background video for our big theater tour for the Doors too. That's going to be awesome. So
see, I like the theatrics. I like the visual as well, the audio. I'm a child of the MTV era. I remember when video killed the radio star, 1981. And that's my formative years, man. I'm class of 86. I know I mentioned that before, but I'm proud that I grew up in the 80s. Yes, I was born in 69, but I grew up in the 80s, and the 80s are still my favorite genre of music, and the 70s as well. I know I had a few records and 8-track tapes. Grandpa, what's an 8-track tape? Okay. But, I do like that you're taking it back. And, I remember there was Pink Floyd and Roger Waters was in and out of the band. Are you going to be exploring like the different lineups of Pink Floyd, or not Pink Floyd, the Doors? I'm sorry, the Pink Floyd was the band that you were bragging on, but the Doors. Are you going to be celebrating the different points? I know it was like hard and fast and short-lived, but they did so much in that little bit of time that they were, they were together and making music.
I think one thing that I've noticed, we got a lot of songs in the set. It's over 2 hours.
Oh.
And when I was digging into the character, well, I should say the man, Jim Morrison, one of the interesting little tidbits that I pulled out was that after he got himself in so much trouble with various things, we know it's pretty historically documented, some of the things that he did, they kind of put him on ice for almost a year. And that was when he got big and grew a beard. And when they dragged him back into the studio, the goal was to make him more of an adult and less of a wild child, full of grace. So you can hear that in the songs that came out on that album after his trouble. There are some pretty different songs. And I've been enjoying doing those. The other thing we have is,
well, let me stop you there. Don't be so cryptic about the story. There's young listeners that have never heard of Jim Morrison and the Doors, and it's going to be brand new. as Vince Warry sings those songs. They're going to say, "Oh man, is that an original song? Is that because it's going to be something they haven't heard?" So I want to hear the stories that you've heard of the man that are going to inform your character, you playing that as you've heard them.
Well, I think, I mean, there's a few sort of the most legendary Jim stories are whipping it out on stage at one point, I believe, which got him arrested. The other one was the police. They pepper sprayed him before a show because he was resisting arrest backstage. They caught him with a woman in the showers or something, and he was like, "Don't you know who I am?" And they didn't know. And he got up in the cop's face and pepper sprayed him. And then they figured him out. So he went on stage and he was doing his thing, but he was angry. And one of the things, if you watch Jim carefully on shows, he started off really shy, really rooted to the microphone. And then he kind of picks these moments where he just goes off. So you have to watch the show carefully and kind of try to decipher, is Jim in a mood? Is he like running high on some illicit chemical? What's going on in that crazy, crazy mind of his? And in the one particular instance, he was so angry about the situation with the cops backstage, and they had a line of police as security in front of the stage, and he started doing his ramble, like you mentioned at the top of the show there, but his ramble mentioned this little piggy. And he starts talking about this little piggy, and one by one the police started turning around and looking at him. And I think the famous line is, one of them stepped up to the microphone and said, "Mr. Morrison, you've gone too far." And they arrested him, and the crowd went into chaos. And a lot of the Doors shows were chaos, one way or another. Another famous instant, one of my favorite, if you see one of the concerts, I think it's the Isle of Wight concert, it's just a red light on stage. And you wonder why, like, you know, they were big at that point. Why don't they have this crazy lighting show? Well, it turns out they showed up at the Isle of Wight festival, and their crew didn't know that bands were supposed to bring their own lighting in. So some enterprising individual said, you know, we can charge you, I don't know what the price would have been at the time, let's just say $1,000 a light. And thinking he was going to make like 30 grand or 40 grand, and the Doors just said, yeah, we'll take one red light. And that was it. So,
yeah. I mean, do
crazy
you,
stuff.
Well, yeah. And it parallels Elvis in his later years. And, you know, me growing up in South Florida, we had our famous Sheriff Nick Navarro back in the late 80s, where he said, "To live crew, if you ever say those words that you say in your songs on our stage, we're going to arrest you." And sure enough, they arrested him. Yeah, I called you out, Nick Navarro. I'm sure he's passed away by now, but any of his people, if they want to rebut, they can come on the podcast and tell me the story as they heard it. But I remember as a kid, you know, and listening, and that was when hip hop was new, or was just turning a corner, where they had to have parental advisories, and the cops have generally been involved with music since music has been made. Famously, I've heard that Beethoven used to get called out for. I first heard this on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They taught me a lot about history. This is where I get my history. But Beethoven was often accused of corrupting the minds of the youth with his crazy music. I mean, but do you think?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think that if you put the Jim Morrison outfit on, the hair, the glasses, the tight leather pants, the belt, the blouse shirt, do you think that you might channel some of that naughtiness and some of that Jim Morrison-ness? And is there an arrest record coming soon for Vince Warry?
I am very aware that it's a different audience these days. So I walk a fine line of props to set the mood, but not going all the way. So to make it through, I'll let you know a trade secret. To make it through a 2.5 hour set of some pretty growly vocals at times when he's really getting a whiskey voice, I drink this tea. It's called throat coat tea. It's a singer's secret weapon. Really works well. Smooths the vocals out instantaneously. But a friend of mine once told me, actually my best friend, told me he caught me singing Zeppelin one night, and I was drinking it out of a water bottle, and he was like, "You can't look cool drinking tea out of a water bottle on stage." So I was thinking about Jim, and I was watching him, and I was looking at my throat coat tea, and I was watching Jim drink out of Jack Daniels bottles, drinking Jack, and I thought, why don't I just get a couple empty Jack Daniels bottles and swig my throat coat tea out of that on stage. So that's what I'll be doing to kind of meet in the middle, if you will. I'm twice as old as Jim was, for God's sake, so I'm not going to be drinking JD out of a bottle anymore. So,
come on, if they see you with that JD, they're going to be sending you cases of it. You're really hardcore fans, because this portion of the podcast is brought to you by not just Jack Daniels, but also that throat coat tea. I need you to send lots of money and lots of throat coat tea over to Vince Warry. How about that? Is there a particular type of throat coat tea that you like to drink? Because who knows, man? Maybe they'll send it to you.
That's just what it's called, throat coat tea.
Oh, okay, throat coat tea. All right, free ad for them. Hopefully they sell a bunch of tea, yeah, and they send a couple cases your way. But that's a great secret. It's this business called show. There's a lot of fakery, and when I do the live shows, when I'm doing the karaoke shows, and I'm playing a video, maybe I'm playing one of the there's one hash pipe, and it has a bunch of sumo wrestlers in there, and I occasionally, whatever's on that screen, I'll use it. I'll say, oh, the next singer coming up is Tim. If you look real close at the music video, he was in this video. Check it out. And Tim had nothing to do with that video, but it's part of the show business. It's part of, was he in that? If I say it into a microphone, if I say it on a podcast, there's going to be somebody's going to think it's true. So it's theatrics, it's part of the show.
I remember watching very soon after Van Halen broke up. I drove down to Seattle to catch David Lee Roth playing, and he was doing his way over the top David Lee Roth, very overcompensating because of recent Van Halen separation. He was like maxed out on his show, and he did he drank out of his Jack Daniels bottle. I was really close too. He did his swig out of the Jack Daniels bottle and spat it up in the air. And I remember the waft of apple juice was quite strong. And I was like, yeah, all right, okay there, fella. Yeah, so.
Wait, newsflash, yeah. Van Halen broke up?
Yeah, sorry to break that to you.
Hey, I got this new mixer with sound effects, so I got to do a couple jokes here and there. But do you have any dad jokes? Do you have any puns? Do you have anything musically related? Throw me a joke, man. I know I'm putting you right on the spot, but I don't want to take too much more time off you. But I do want to know where you're at. We already know where you're at now, and I want to know where you're going, Vince Warry. But while I'm rambling on and stalling for time, think of a joke.
Yeah, you're not going to get a joke out of me because you totally caught me off guard. So I'll go with what's coming up. We have the Doors shows to take us to the end of 2024.
Where?
Then it's time for a little bit of Vince Warry and my band, which we're calling the Chosen Rogues. So Vince Warry and the Chosen Rogues, which is heavily influenced by the members of Yesterday's Fate. And we've got some rockin' tunes coming out of the next recording sessions. I'll Never Be was my last stop for a while on the slow and mellow breakup song. We've got some big theme songs coming up. The next one's called We Are the Light, and that is like sort of let's take the power back kind of anthem. We are the light. You know, you got to put an energy out there that's positive, not negative, not divisive. And then I got another song that we're working on right now called It's Something That Everybody Knows, I think, unfortunately, and it is called The Narcissist, and that's going to be another rocker too, so...
No, I like the We Are the Light. That's beautiful, you know, because you have the slow songs, but you have to have the uplifting songs too. Yes, you're right. This world is topsy-turvy. We're heading for a crash, man. You know, here in the States, I mean, we're like, we don't know. I got two choices out of 8 million people we got in this. I got two choices. Really? These are the guys? Come on. No, but, you know, and I know that there's a few other choices that are out there, but traditionally this is a two-party system, and, oh, my gosh, we got to be the light, man. You got to be the light. Oh, I need some, you know, hold on for one more day. Break free from, you know, whatever. That kind of crescendo that Be the Light is probably going to be. I don't know. I've never heard the song, but tell me, you know, how are you putting it together? Or what are your thoughts on what's happening?
I think the thing that makes me the saddest, and that's kind of where I was going with the song, is there's a chosen few who are consistently fueling us to be polarized these days. I remember reading, and I know, like, I'm a history teacher in my day job, so I know both countries' histories fairly well, not as deep a dive on American history, but I do know that up until, well, you could probably tell me what president, but I definitely know back in World War II with Roosevelt and some of the presidents after that, that the idea was, even though it was a two-party system, once the election was over, you were back to being Americans again. And I feel that way about Canada too. We have multiple parties, but there's so much hate nowadays. And if, you know, and a lot of people complaining that some of them didn't even vote, and they're complaining about who's running. First off, go out and vote. And second of all, once that vote is done and the person is chosen by the people, get on board and be productive and work towards the common goal of making your country better. And, you know, that's all I got to say. Yeah,
George Washington was a reluctant president. You know, right off the bat, the two-party system was going to kill this democracy. And you were talking about Roosevelt. When he died, then Harry Truman had to figure out whether he should drop the bomb, and he did it. You know, and they dropped the. You know, I just recently heard he ordered. You know, he went ahead and dropped the first bomb, but the second bomb was kind of, you know, a general decided to drop that second bomb because he thought, well, it's in my arsenal. It's just another bomb. Might as well use it. Bam, he drops the second bomb, and thankfully Japan went ahead and surrendered. But, you know, yeah, the ones that had the problems after, Eisenhower and we're spiraling. It feels like we're spiraling down, man. And could it have been the New Deal? The Republicans will tell you that the New Deal was probably what you know, was problematic when government got involved with subsidizing and giving money. But I don't know. Our healthcare is topsy turvy. Our education system is topsy turvy. Should it be free? No. But it should be inexpensive. It should be affordable. I don't mind working to pay for my health care and pay for my education, but it should be affordable, man. And it's just not. It's just not. Being an educator.
Dark times.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, you go through history all the time. Are we doomed to repeat it? Because now history is getting whitewashed and glossed over. And I'm sure history has always been written by the victors. I've heard that my whole life. But is history about to, well, I mean, Tom Sawyer, there's no N-word Jim. It's now slave Jim. And pretty soon slavery is just going to be washed away as well. And is the earth flat? And did we ever land on the moon? And, there all these, I don't even want to say they're conspiracy theories. They're conspiracy, what is it? Well, they just like to spout the conspiracies and with no basis of fact. I know I'm rambling, man. You got me on a rant. And I love that you take me this way. You're going to write a song about it.
It goes back to, let's take this landing on the moon for an example, and all this. It's definitely a sign that the education system is slipping, but it's also a problematic loss of pride. Like when people start questioning the amazing accomplishments of the United States when they were at their peak of like getting together and making stuff happen. It's sad. It's a sad loss.
Yeah, and I'm not going to discount the Russians and others that also helped with the space race as well. Yeah, the Russians were the ones that got that first Sputnik into the atmosphere, and then we went and hit. I think it was Explorer was our first satellite that we put out into out of our atmosphere, and then it just it rolled from there, and now the space race is back on, baby, and hopefully. We're getting together in that respect. That's something that's bringing us together rather than tearing us apart like this. That you have this party and you have to be with them, or you're no good. You have to get on this side of the fence or that side of the fence, and you can't be down the middle. Where I find that most people that I talk to are somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the voices that are the loudest are the ones on the sides. Totally.
Oh, far left and far right. They're the detriment of society, man, and people just keep amplifying them with the tweets, which I can't say tweet anymore. It's X. What?
From the far left to the far right. That's a lyric right out of "We Are the Light." So there you go.
You are very prescient, my man. You're writing songs, and you have the ability to change minds, to steer policies through your music, man. I mean, Ronnie Reagan was using "Born in the USA" as his intro music. And he had no idea what Born in the USA was about lyrically. And here's Ronnie Reagan going, yeah, Born in the USA. Yeah, buddy. Killing the yellow man? Yeah. What am I doing here? What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
Songs change lives, man. You steer. Yeah, and you're gonna do it with your Doors cover band. You're gonna do it with your solo stuff and your new band as well. What's the name of that new band again?
Vince Warry and the Chosen Rogues.
The Chosen Rogues. Look for them. Any shows coming up? Any theaters that you're playing, or any clubs or bars that you're playing often? Give them some shout outs.
Good old-fashioned Nanaimo bar right here in Nanaimo, BC. We've got the Queens, and we have the oh my God, I've gone blank. The Rainbow Room in Port Alberni. That's those are our homes. So,
see, it's nice to have homes. How often do you gig there? Every week or every couple of weeks? Once a month? What are we doing there?
Oh no, we're like. We book way out ahead, so we're going to warm up the Doors at the Rainbow Room, and we'll probably warm up Vince Warry and the Chosen Rogues in 2025 at the Rainbow Room and at the Nanaimo Bar as well. So,
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about your shirt. What's Maritime Madness?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So these fine folk have made me an ambassador. They make the best hot sauce.
I
They
like a
have
good
so
hot
many
sauce,
different
man.
hot sauces, and the flavor is top notch. So check out Maritime Madness hot sauce if you want good tasting and hot sauce.
Oh, I'm so glad that I asked, man. I do like a good hot sauce. I eat a lot of tacos and burritos that obviously, I mean, you don't get a body like this eating healthy, but I do like my tacos and burritos. And I've been putting a different kind of hot sauce on them. And I want to give a try to that Maritime Madness. Do they have a website?
Oh, yeah. That's the one you want to try right there. That's a good start.
Look at the darkness on that with the candied habanero and the sweet and hot fire candy. Oh, the name says it all. Look at the darkness of that. I'm sure it's hot. Get your water ready. Have your cold brew. Well, I guess you'd have your Jack Daniels full of throat tea at your side while you're having some of that good sauce.
They are super nice people to deal with. Great website. Those are the Maritimes. That's some of the friendliest people in Canada, and they prove it. Great company. So if you need some hot sauce, order it up. That Canadian versus American dollar will get you. These are they're big and they're like $11 Canadian. So that's I don't know, $4 American these days. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I just recently got a thing from England. I got a subscription for something, and it was like £3, but then with the conversion, it was like $4.95 American. I went, woo, our dollar is going down, baby. But I'm glad you got the chance to give the plug for Maritime Madness, and I'm guessing that they're helping you out as well, man. It's people helping people, and you're part of the Big Records family. And that's, people helping people as well. You mentioned your friend's cover band. That's what we're supposed to be doing, is talking about the Pink Floyd cover band, talking about the other bands that you've went to and enjoyed their shows as well as your own shows. So, yeah, I'm so stoked, man. It's good catching up with you, Vince Warry. And I know that I got you on all my social medias. I got the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and the MySpace. I know we joked about the MySpace. I'm not giving up my 11,000 friends on MySpace. I'm sure they hardly ever look.
I don't even know how to turn that off.
Well, I'm going to keep putting it in the show notes so people keep adding you.
Email for it anymore. It's life of its own. So yeah.
I'm sorry. I think I stepped on you. What was it, the email?
I don't even know the email anymore. I can't turn MySpace off. I have no idea what to do. So, yeah.
Leave it on, man. Leave it on. MySpace forever. All right, my man. We talked about a few things. We know where you are. We know where you're heading. You're making more songs. You're making more music. You're going to be playing with different bands, keeping musicians working, because you have the whole Yesterday's band is backing you up with the Rogues, or what?
Yesterday's Fate is the musicians from Yesterday's Fate are pretty much the chosen rogues. Yep.
I like that, man. Keeping people working, keeping people busy. You taking the time to learn all these instruments, learn your craft, and working together is how you're going to create new stuff for Joes like me, man, that get to listen, get to consume, and get to play them at different events, man. All right, let's get on out of here, man. Do you think we covered it?
I think we covered it, Dan. Always good to see you, my man.
All right, well, let's give the last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, a mantra you wake up with every morning, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Vince Warry, give the last words for the people.
There's a lot of emotion out there these days, my friends. So whether it's grief, or whether it's anger, or whether it's sadness, let it wash through you like waves. feel it, take a little piece of it to learn by, and let the bulk of it pass on through.
Well, there you have it, party people. Vince Warry, one of the coolest dudes around out there in British Columbia. He's got so many projects, man. So many irons in the fire. And I'm so excited to hear more about the Rogues and Yesterday. And my goodness, I got to even look up the Pink Floyd band, but I definitely got to look up the hot sauce. Oh my goodness, I like me some hot sauce. Keep it on your belt. I wish I had a utility belt that I can throw some of that hot sauce in there and just have it at the ready all the time for my burritos and my bland foods that need a little spicing up. Man, sounds good. Get me some of that hot sauce. Get you some of that hot sauce. Enjoy some food while you're listening to some Vince Warry tunes. Thanks again, Vince Warry, for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast once again. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.